Whoop, and I am back again! Ha! Did you miss me? How do you like my Dragon Ball shirt? Of course, I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan, grew up with Dragon Ball, Gundam, Xena, Hercules, and Vegeta was always my main character. He is fucking awesome, and they never really did him justice, in my personal opinion, even though, this year, at the beginning of the year, I watched Dragon Ball Super, finally. It was good. It's not as good as Dragon Ball Z, but it was good. And there were some really fucking cool moments in Dragon Ball Super with both Frieza and freaking Vegeta. Okay, with that being said, I also have been playing some older games besides playing PlayStation 5 games. And actually, let me, because I'm doing it wrong. The game that I was actually playing before I got a PS5 was Dark Cloud. I love Dark Cloud 2 in the United States, and I think in Japan. Here in Europe it's called Dark Chronicle. I really loved it, but I never really played the original Dark Cloud. Now I know that sort of the graphical style was kind of different, sort of 3D polygon versus cell shading, and I definitely prefer the Dark Chronicle graphical style than Dark Cloud. But I'm at the end of the game. I still need to play it, but PS5 happened, so that's why I didn't beat the game. I haven't beaten the game just yet. Just like in Dark Chronicles though, the dungeons do get repetitive. The music is fantastic, especially the music in the dungeon, in the second dungeon, in the woods. I think it's called the Owl Woods. That soundtrack is phenomenal. I love that soundtrack. The game is great, gameplay is great, it feels really old school, but it's still really cool, and especially building your town is pretty nice, really limited, extremely limited, even compared to like Dark Chronicles felt a lot more open, you could do a lot more. This felt really limited. However, there is a plus side in the version of Dark Cloud, is that the townspeople actually walk outside your town. In Dark Chronicles, your towns are always empty. And that was always a bummer for me when, as a kid playing the game, I'm like, why doesn't the townspeople walk around? It really feels like an empty ghost town, even though all the townspeople are in their houses, they never really go outside. But Dark Cloud is a great game. I will definitely go play it more and beat it. I'm about 30 hours into the game. The game that I've also been playing, I got a couple of PS2 games in the mail this weekend, and one of them was Pac-Man World 2. Now, I'm not entirely sure, probably, a stupid question, but probably Pac-Man World is also on PS2. But I got these games for $5 each, and they mostly sell for about 12 to 20. So $5 was really fucking cheap. So I started just checking. I always, check out my games that I buy. I always try and check them out at least. And I was checking the game out. I'm like, okay, it's a Pac-Man game. And I was playing. And I'm like, okay, the levels are pretty short. It's not super hard. Because to me personally, a lot of these platformer games, especially older ones like Mario, they are super hard. They're still fun to play, but they're very hard. And I'm not a huge fan of platformers. Not 2D, not 3D, not a huge fan of them. I played Mario a lot when I was a kid, and I play platformers once in a while. But I never beaten Crash Bandicoot or Spyro. They were fun games, but I've never beaten them because they're so fucking hard. So I was playing Pac-Man World 2, and I was at the first boss. I'm like, okay, they literally tell you how to beat the boss. It wasn't that hard. And I was playing more and more and more and more. And I was to the third boss, the second boss, and I went to the third boss. I'm like, I actually am liking this game a lot more than I was anticipating. Will I ever beat the game? Will I go back to play it? Not sure, but maybe one day I crave like a 3D platformer, and I will definitely put in Pac-Man World 2. It's a fantastic game. I was expecting like a budget title, but I actually got a really great platformer. I've also been playing sort of hack and slash games. Not entirely sure why. I have been playing Devil May Cry 3 a little bit an evening on the PS3, the HD collection, because I saw a retrospective about Devil May Cry. And I'm like, hey, I played Devil May Cry 1 a lot. I played Devil May Cry 2 a lot. Actually, replayed it last year. I never really replayed Devil May Cry 3. So I started playing the game and holy fuck, the game is hard. Like, as a kid, I was never, to be really honest, as a kid, I never thought to myself, oh, this game is super hard. I was just like, oh man, this game is fucking cool. I'm gonna keep playing. But now, as I'm a lot older and I'm becoming a boomer, the game is fucking hard. It is really fucking hard. I had to retry the first boss, or the Cerberus boss, over and over and over, and I could not beat the boss. And at a certain point, the game asks you, do you want easy mode? I'm like, yes, I want easy mode. And I played easy mode, and I could not beat the fucking boss. So I tried it over and over and over and over again, and I basically cheaped out on it. With just the normal pistols, I basically walked left, shoot, right, shoot, left, shoot, right, shoot, and that's all I did. So I basically, it took me ages to beat him, but I finally did. But in my mind, I knew the games were hard. I think that Devil May Cry 3 is being considered one of the hardest games ever, especially in that genre. But I never remembered it being so fucking hard. But after I sort of played that, I checked out on YouTube like more games like Devil May Cry. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I remember Rygar. So Rygar was a arcade and NES game. There was someone on YouTube who said to me that Rygar was also on arcade. That's the only reason why I know it. The only thing I remember, it's on the Nintendo because I played it on the Switch. But Rygar is basically a Devil May Cry God of War style game. I won't say clone, style game. It looks fantastic. It plays great. I played it for an evening. I will definitely go back and play it more. And that's basically it. If you love God of War, if you love Devil May Cry, go check out Rygar. It is, I'm not entirely sure if it's like a hidden gem, but you don't really see many people talk about Rygar. Now, last but definitely not least, the game that I am playing at this very moment. This is the game I'm playing as of right now. And that is Genji. Now, we all know the famous giant enemy crab meme from the PlayStation 2 Genji. But this one is the PS2 version. It was before the giant enemy crab stuff happened. And it is a really nice, small little game that took me by surprise. It plays like Onimusha. It literally plays like Onimusha without sort of the monsters. You have enemies and you do have sort of monsters. I'm actually at the sort of the second chapter in the game. So you are getting monsters, but not in the same way as in Onimusha. But what I really like about this game that actually sort of baffled me is it looks super good. Like, I was playing the game, I'm like, especially the character animation, it looks fantastic. I was actually thinking to myself, does this game look better than Final Fantasy X? Because in my opinion, Final Fantasy X and God of War are like the best looking games on PlayStation 2. Especially in terms of the characters itself. So I'm looking at, I'm playing the game like this. I think this looks better than Final Fantasy X. The environments look fantastic and they sound fantastic. This really ancient feudal Japanese style. I freaking love it. And then you have these Japanese old style garbs and armors. I love that. Same with Samurai Warriors. I love these franchises. I love the graphical style. I love the style of the samurais and whatever. So I was playing the game. I was playing. And it's actually not that hard. And then I saw a level up screen. I'm like, oh, you level up. Because the game actually doesn't tell you that much. The game basically drops you into action and figure it out. They don't even tell you like press square, to do a a medium, a light attack, press triangle to do a heavy attack. They don't say that. They don't say anything, to be completely honest. That was really weird. And you have your kamui attack, where you basically slow down time, and when the enemies want to attack you, you can press square, you see it, and then you do sort of a counter attack, and you can do it a lot of times. That is really, really cool. And you actually do some massive damage to the boss enemies with the kamui attack. So I was playing the game and I was liking it more and more and more. What I also really like about Genji is that it is sort of a small RPG where you can go back to you can go back to every level, and the bosses will not be there, but enemies will still spawn in. So you can grind for levels, you can grind for money. And in towns, or in the town, there are only 2 towns as of right now that I've discovered, you can actually upgrade your weapons. Well, not really upgrade, more like buy new weapons, buy new armor, buy new weapons, buy new accessoires to upgrade your character. And I really like it. So there's this small sort of RPG element in the game, just like, I think Onimusha 2 and Dawn of Blades. What was it called? Dawn of Blades? The last good Onimusha game. That also had sort of a shop menu, and you can upgrade your weapons, and there was a city, etc., etc. So I am liking Genji a lot more than I thought it would. I thought that this was more like sort of a God of War style Devil May Cry game, but it is way more Onimusha, way more RPG-ish, and I really liked it. The English voices suck monkey ass. They do. Of course they do. But you can also choose the Japanese dialogue. So I actually have to choose. Why am I not choosing that? That's kind of weird. But overall, I know that not a lot of people really like this game, or maybe they don't like the second game, on PS3. But to me, if I played this back when I was a kid, this would probably be one of the best games that I would have played in my childhood on PS2. Especially graphics, it blew my mind. Like, what am I seeing on PS? Like a lush forest with a temple. It looks really freaking cool. Now, I have also been playing a PlayStation 1 game. Well, not on PlayStation 1. I've been playing it on PlayStation 5. This weekend I figured, okay, why not? I want to play an RPG. I want to play a good RPG that I know a lot of people love. It's sort of a respected RPG, and it is sort of a successor, the second one of the greatest RPGs ever made, Chrono Trigger. And this is, of course, Chrono Cross. Now, this is the American version. But I don't have an American PlayStation 1. So I got the Dreamers Edition, Radical Dreamers Edition on PlayStation 5. Cost me $20, way too expensive for my taste. But I have basically been playing that game for 10 hours straight. That's not a joke. I literally played that game for 10 hours straight. And after that, I was like, okay, maybe I'll play something else. Maybe it's time to play something a little bit else. I love Chrono Cross. Now, the game is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. It doesn't tell you where to go. So there is a part of the game after the Viper Manor where a kid gets poisoned, and there's an option for you, sort of a side quest or something like that, or it's going to make the storyline different, because I remember Chrono Trigger had like a lot of different endings. So I decided to save Kid, and then you had to you had to defeat an Hydra, but in that world the Hydra was extinct. But in your world, it wasn't. There was still an Hydra left. And basically they did tell you, like, oh, in my world or in your world there's still a Hydra left. So go to your world and defeat the Hydra and get the antidote, and then we can save Kid. And I'm like, okay. I'm waiting. I'm like, what do I have to do? Where can I actually do that? And honestly God, I don't know if the game actually told me to, but I had to look it up on Google, and I'm like, oh, of course, idiot. You need to go back to Odessa Beach, where the first time you actually transported to the other world, and then with the astral charm that Kid gave you, you can go back to your world. I'm like, but from my knowledge, the game did not tell me that. And I've actually had a couple of times where I have to check out Google because the game didn't tell me what to do or where to go. Or maybe I'm just not reading it properly, or I really have to sort of talk to every townspeople in a town to really get the information out. But that is the only thing I really hate about the game. Like, it doesn't really tell you where to go. Now, in this version, of course, you can skip random battles, or you can let the AI control your party. They basically do the standard attacks over and over, and you can skip forward. You can like make it really go really fast. Now, skipping random battles to me is like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. But I have played it a little bit, just the way you should play it, and just like you played on PS1. And then I'm like, you know, as a kid, I would probably love it, but I am older. I got way more games. I don't have that much time anymore. You know, I still work. I don't want to spend a 50-hour game, 20 hours in random battles grinding. So I clicked on fast forward. I clicked on AI does it automatically, and a battle that lasts like a minute now lasts 10 seconds. So it's way better. I have to honestly admit, I think I made a video about it. You know, turn-based battle systems versus action-based. I am definitely nowadays a little bit more into action games than in turn-based games. But I still did not want to delete random battles total. I'm still doing the random battles. The game looks great. It looks fantastic, especially all remastered. The music, you know, I've actually listened to a lot of RPG music. And so Chrono Trigger was always in everybody's list in RPG music. There's Chrono Trigger music, and especially the other world map music is phenomenal. It is magical. I don't know how to explain it, but it makes me feel happy and sad at the same time. It makes me feel extremely nostalgic. Like, I'm talking about extremely nostalgic towards my childhood and games like Final Fantasy VII, Breath of Fire 3, Final Fantasy X, all these great RPGs I have played. Just that another world soundtrack where you're in the world map, that soundtrack is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Everything else is fantastic. I love Chrono Trigger. But I also love Chrono Cross. So I'm really, really liking this game. A lot of characters to recruit. I have no idea how to do it. And I don't want to check on Google for everything. You know, I don't want to do it with everything. But I'm really, really liking this game. And I'll be really honest. Sometimes when I play older games, especially now that I have a PS5, sometimes I do think to myself, why did I get a PS5? What's the point? I have so much good stuff to play. Why did I get a PS5? But then I pop in Bannerlord, have battles, huge battles. I'm like, oh yeah, that was the reason why I got a PS5. I hope you liked this video. Definitely leave it in the comments below. Are you playing some retro stuff? Leave it in the comments below. What games are you playing? Have you ever played Genji, and what do you think about the game? Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And like always, you're gonna see me next time. Weep.